Hello and welcome to a very special Bible study on domestic violence. My name is Crystal Jaime, and I had the privilege of working with victims of domestic violence as an attorney for about 14 years. Most of my practice was devoted to helping victims of domestic violence with every aspect of their family law cases. So not just restraining orders, but also the custody, the visitation, the support, dissolution, whatever their legal issues were, sometimes even getting involved in immigration matters with victims of domestic violence. I had to stop because of health reasons, but I continued being involved in the community that supports victims of domestic violence. And as a process in all of that, I came across this great Bible study that Abigail's House has. They are a program run through the Olympia Union Gospel Mission. And so I really enjoyed it, and I asked permission, and they gave it to me to go ahead and put this online, because I feel like this is probably a better way for especially busy victims who might have small children to be able to go through these materials. So I have intentionally tried to keep each of these videos fairly short, under 10 minutes, broken it down into smaller chunks, giving you a little bit more to digest. And so this is the introductory video, and there are a few things that I just want to go over before we actually dig into the meat of this Bible study. God has a lot to say about justice, about victims, and we will find out about domestic violence through this study. Whether you're the one in a difficult relationship or you know someone who is in a situation of domestic violence, it is my prayer that this study might be able to help you better understand, as well as give you some wisdom and guidance in the decisions that you need to make in your relationships. A lot of times people have different definitions of domestic violence or think of domestic violence in different ways. In my experience, most of the people who I came across tended to think of domestic violence as severe physical abuse. That has somewhat changed, but I will say even victims who have the head knowledge that domestic violence and abuse is more than physical, a lot of times won't take steps to leave the relationship until it escalates to something physical. So there's still something there when we use the term abuse, I feel culturally in our minds, that makes people think of physical abuse. But the one thing I really want to get across through this series is domestic violence is more than physical abuse. It is not just physical abuse. So for purposes of this video, when I refer to domestic violence, I am referring to a pattern of misuse of power and control against a household member or intimate partner. It is coercion, intimidation, and control through emotional, verbal, physical, sexual, financial, religious, or other means. As I mentioned, I had been involved in some aspects of immigration cases in my work with domestic violence victims, so that is another means that is sometimes used against victims. Health is another means that is sometimes used against victims of domestic violence. This video series includes 10 of the Abigail's Bible studies. So Abigail's actually offers 38 biblical studies on domestic violence and issues that domestic violence victims frequently have to deal with. But this video series that I am doing is 10 of those studies that focuses on understanding the basic dynamics of domestic violence relationships, including verbal abuse. I have included a link to Abigail's in the video description below. If you are a victim of domestic violence, this is one of the most important parts of this video. Be aware that there are apps and programs that can be used to track everything you are doing on your cell phone or other electronic device. These trackers can record many things, including apps you've used, what you've did on them, websites you've visited, and even things you've typed. They're called keystroke loggers. Some of these apps can actually be hidden, so you may not see them on your phone, and they can be accessed remotely. If you're still in a violent relationship, and again, I am not talking just physical abuse. I am talking stalking. I am talking verbal. I am talking emotional. I am talking physical. Any of those things we've discussed. If you're still in one of those relationships where there's a misuse of power and control, I strongly suggest that you try to watch this video series either at a friend's house or on a public computer, not on your own personal device, just in case there is any tracking software on it. Please keep in mind that even if you remove videos from your watch history on YouTube or wherever you might see this or it might be posted, or if you delete your browsing record, some of these apps still track that information and your abuser might still have access to it. There's a link in the video description below to a website where you can get more information about safely using technology. Again, if you're still in a situation of domestic violence, I strongly encourage you to check out that link below. I finally want to note that this channel is operated completely independently of both Abigail's and the Olympia Union Gospel Mission. I did obtain permission from Abigail's to use their study materials. Thank you so much for allowing me to do that as the primary basis for this video series. And I will just say I have added a few things. Some of the materials, the last time I went through them, were a little bit dated. So I have updated some things, like specifically regarding technology, some additional safety planning, things of that nature. So, but the primary basis of this study comes from their Bible study materials. So thank you for allowing me to use those. Finally, I really, really pray that this study helps you, whether you're a victim or whether you are a friend or a family member, a victim, to better understand domestic violence, find assistance, find safety, and find peace. Remember, no matter what others may have told you or demonstrated, God cares deeply about this issue. And most importantly, He cares deeply about you. Your love, your peace, your safety, not your control, are a priority for Him.